Good morning, YouTube. Today we're going to talk about the current status of conversions on the Ferrari F430 and 360.
So are you recording all of the nefarious activities?
If you're new to the channel, my name is Dan, and this is our dealership, NG Supercars. And one of the most common things that we get asked questions about is the manual conversions. So if you don't know, we do manual conversions, specifically on the Ferrari F430 and the Ferrari 360. And we have done lots of them. When we get people interested in these conversions, they ask a lot of questions. And I thought I should give an update video of where is the current market at, what's the status of everything, and some of the general questions. So I'm going to point out a few things. Number one, I am filming this today is Wednesday, February 4th. If you're watching this a year from now, couple months from now, the prices could change, the situation could change, things could be different. This is kind of a timely video in that in the next few months, the situation will be not the same. So take everything with a grain of salt. So if you want to get the up-to-date, up-to-the-minute status and you're watching this later, send us an email, sales@normalguysupercar.com, and we can discuss getting your car converted. Let's start off with showing you one of these conversion kits. So this is what we get when we buy a conversion kit. We don't manufacture the parts. Our partner Makina Motorworks here in the Austin area, they manufacture most of the kits we use, the vast majority of them. As you can see, these are all machined parts. They are really high quality. In our opinion, the converted cars are actually better quality than the OE cars, and there's a few reasons for that. One big difference is that they're using modern materials. So if you look right here, this is not plastic. So in the factory cars, that is actually plastic and can break and fall apart and turn brittle after a long time. Some of the components in the factory cars do wear out. That is one of them. They are using glass-infused nylon, and it's a much better, much more durable material, and it lasts a lot longer. Also, because it's 2026, using machines to cut these parts instead of using cast parts, in my opinion, is way more accurate, and you get a better fit and better quality material. So you could use better materials to start with instead of pouring the materials into a cast and then machining the parts afterwards. You could start with a better piece of billet aluminum or whatever material that they're using. Some of those parts are stainless, some of the parts are different materials. So also, through trial and error, I know when we talk to Makina about some of the things like the seal, they use a modern seal on this shift box instead of the factory uses like this weird scraper seal, and it's not perfect. It leaks on a lot of the cars. This shaft right here, you'll see like a little tiny dribble of oil coming out from the transmission. That's not uncommon. It's not a big deal, but it does leak on the factory part pretty commonly. They've changed it out and they use a different seal. It's actually a improved seal, and we were actually helping them on that because we had some cars have that leak. So they upgraded the part and found a better version. So that's one of the things to talk about. They also are using, do you remember, are the shift cables the factory, I don't remember if they talked to the company that made them for the factory or like something like that. Anyway, replicas of the factory. They're identical to the factory parts. So those are interchangeable with the factory parts. In fact, I believe everything here can be interchanged with factory parts, even though some are machined versus cast and so on. So even though like this piece right here in the factory part is cast and this one's machined, and same with this piece right here on a factory car is cast and this is machined. They're basically interchangeable, and same with these actuator arms or these arms right here. So all these parts, yeah, they're all made from machined materials. We also have steel braided brake fluid lines and insulation and some other things. Here is they use an aftermarket clutch main cylinder, and of course we have some wiring harness, and the last component is the programming. So we work with them to get the computers programmed. It's different programming on the 430 and the 360, so it depends which car you get, has different programming. Of note, if you have an aftermarket exhaust, the programming costs an extra $1,000. So we'll talk about the pricing in a second. But if you do aftermarket exhaust, like if you have aftermarket headers or cat deletes or any of that stuff, it is $1,000 more because they have to do performance tune or whatever you call it. So it's a little bit more expensive. If we do a Makina Motorworks conversion, we use their programming, which is through Trev 360. So it's a Trev 360 tune. So that's kind of the parts and stuff. We have a transmission laying on the floor there, and Randy is working on pulling a transmission on that car there because he is converting that car. So I'll show you the status of this one. This is kind of mid conversion. It's actually early conversion. So he's got The shift box mounted, shift cables run through, about getting close to pull the transmission, so we got to get the A-frame out. See, there's the squid, as we call it, the shift box, or the shift actuators for the F1 system. So here's your F1 pump. This is the block, your accumulator, and then it pressurizes those lines, which causes that box to actually do the shifting. And there is your shift forks in the transmission. So that piece gets replaced with the hardware over there. So one of the common questions is there's two different ways to do a conversion. You can do a trans-in or trans-out conversion. We've done both. We've done a lot of conversions now. I think we've done over 50 conversions. And we do not like the trans-in conversions. Now the reason is it feels kind of muddy. The clutch just does not feel like an OE clutch, in our opinion. So we decided we'd no longer offer the trans-in conversions. Now, it means it's more labor and it takes a little bit more effort, but I think it's worth it. Now, in order to do that, we have to replace the throwout bearing right here. So this piece from the factory, if you have an F1 transmission, has seals that are okay with F1 fluid, which is basically just automatic transmission fluid. ATF seals are not compatible with brake fluid. So if you're using a proper clutch master cylinder and you're using brake fluid because you've done a trans-out conversion, it will eat the seals in the throwout bearing and you'll have a leak, and next thing you know, you're gonna have to pull the transmission again. Not so fun. So yes, 100% of the conversions we do are transmission removal conversions. That is all we do. So you have to pull it out, we have to change out the rear main seal, and that is all included in the price. Big optional expense is, while we're in there, do you want a new clutch? Now, if you do, that is an additional cost. And if you're gonna do the clutch, every time we change a clutch, we change out the rear main seal and the pilot bearing, no matter what. We just do it. They're cheap. They're like 30, 40 bucks for the parts, and the additional labor is like an extra maybe hour or two total. So absolutely worth it. Every time we change out the clutch, we change out those parts as well. As you can see, this is the thing. Once the transmission's out, if you need other things like valve cover gaskets, great time to do it. Saves us a ton of time, so we can do them for much cheaper. If you want aftermarket headers, great time to do it. If you want an aftermarket exhaust, we basically don't even charge for installation except for headers. So like if you wanted aftermarket cats or an aftermarket muffler section, we have to remove those anyway. We're not going to charge you more for the labor on those, but we do of course have to charge you for the parts. But as you can see, yeah, we got great access to the back half of the engine, and the valve covers we can do much easier because we already have the A-frame out, and that is a part of the process of doing the valve cover gaskets anyway. Also, great time to do engine mounts, and even better yet, the trans mount. So if you have a bad trans mount, again, the only additional labor is actually removing the mount, which is a pain in the ass, admittedly. Not our favorite job, but at least the transmission's already out, sitting on the ground. We have great access to it. We get a lot of additional services when cars are getting converted. It's not uncommon that we end up doing a lot of stuff to the car. So again, this is today, February 4th. What does this cost? So the current price for a Ferrari F430 or 360 conversion is $23,000 plus tax and shipping. Now it's $13,000 for the parts, which are taxed, and $10,000 for the labor, which is not taxed. So that is a Texas thing. We don't have to charge sales tax on the labor. So you save some money there. In order to get in line to get a conversion, we need the $13,000 for the parts. So we don't put you in line until we have the $13,000. Then we order the kit. As soon as the kit is here, we have you ship your car. Right now, we obviously have that car being worked on and that car being worked on. So we're probably a good 1 to 2 weeks to finish up that car because it's getting a bunch of other service, and maybe another week or so after that, we'll have that car done. So as of today, if you said, I want to get my car converted, and you said, send us the money, we probably wouldn't be able to get to your car for about 3 weeks at best. So end of February. And that's kind of about typical, is usually about a 2 to 3 week wait. So another common question is there a warranty? Yes, we offer 1 year on the labor, and Makina offers 2 years on the parts. Another question is, do you sell the kits alone? No, we do not. We are not authorized to sell the kits directly to consumers. We are effectively not a reseller of the kits. We only offer it with installations. So if you said, oh, I just want to buy a kit, well, sorry, we can't help you on that one. So again, this is the Machina kit. This is what we're currently installing. We're big fans of the kit, tried lots of stuff, and we're very happy with this. So if you ask us, this is what we're using. And then also it's nice that they're local. Usually we can get kits within 1 to 2 weeks manufacturing time. So again, you ask us to place an order for you. You give us the $1,300 or $13,000 for the parts. We order the kit. It's usually here in about 1 to 2 weeks, depends. Sometimes they already have them ready, and other times we have to wait because maybe they need to manufacture some more parts or whatever. We've been working with them for a while now, and very pleased with that relationship. So that's kind of it for the moment. If you have other questions, feel free to email us sales@normalguysupercar.com. And of course, if you want to actually get a conversion, that's also the email you can reach out to us at. We don't generally take credit cards for these transactions. That's another question we get. If you do want to pay by credit card, we have to add on a surcharge because we're not going to eat those credit card fees, because when you're talking this large amount of money, 3% adds up a lot. You would have to add on 3% if you want to pay by credit card. I get it. Some people want to get their frequent flyer points and stuff. Anytime we do a conversion, we are changing the transmission oil and the engine oil. So if you need an annual service, you're basically getting one for free. You're getting the oil change for free. You're getting the trans fluid change for free. We can add on the oil filter for like an additional, I don't know, like $50 or something, whatever the cost of the oil filter is. Obviously, if the oil filter has just been changed, we're not going to change it again. And then, other things like more services, like this car is not only getting all the conversion, all that stuff. We already have the interior out, so great time for us to do the timing belt service on this 360. So that is another service that is being done at this time. Just think about that. If you're going to do the conversion, think about what other services you might want. The market's going to change. So if you're watching this in, I don't know, April or later, I'll say, prices may have changed. I don't know. We just have to react to the market. Some of the things we can't control, such as the cost of the parts. Basically, we don't really make any parts, or we don't really make anything substantial on the parts. We're making our money on the labor. We think we're competitive in that respect. And honestly, I think we do the best job in the country. No one else has done as many as us. I can guarantee you that. There's literally no one else in the market that's done as many conversions as us, except for maybe that one company that doesn't exist anymore. So that's another question we get is about that particular company. We're no longer affiliated with them. We don't want anything to do with them. So then the other questions that we get commonly asked are, what about a 599 or a 575 or a 612? We don't do those conversions in-house. We can work with you to get them converted at Machina. So we won't convert those cars in-house at the moment. Maybe we'll do them in the future. We don't want to do them at the moment. More challenging. They take a lot more labor and a lot more time. And yeah, I think we'll eventually get to where we're doing it. We're just kind of sticking with things that we're good at. We're really good at 360s and 430s. Very, very good at them. We will eventually evolve into doing those as well. Same thing with the Lamborghini Murcielago. Those, again, can be done at Machina. Maybe eventually we'll do them in the future in-house. I don't know. But if you want to get one, we can work with you to get that done. Everything else we don't do. So if you say, oh, I want to convert a 458, it cannot be done. It's a different transmission. Same with the California. Same with any other modern car that has a DCT transmission. We are aware that there are conversions out there for the Audi R8 and the Lamborghini Gallardo. We don't do them. I have never driven one that's been converted, so I can't speculate on anything. I don't know what they feel like. I don't know what they drive like. Any of that stuff. Oh, and that's another question is, what does this feel like? Does it feel like an OE car? Yes, they do. They feel almost identical. It's very, very subtle differences. It's wonderful. It drives beautifully. It feels great. The clutch feels good. They're a little bit heavy, but they are from the factory. So it feels like an OE car. And then another question that we get asked is, can you see a difference between the OE cars and the converted cars? Yes. None of the converted cars have the Cavallino on the shift gate. The Cavallino is a trademark. It is a Ferrari trademark. We cannot use that or we'll get sued. So we do not use that. If you ask us for one, we will not produce one with that. You can go buy an OE Ferrari gate with the Cavallino on it and put it in there, and that will work just fine. We're not going to do that. So other than that, you can see that obviously the shift box looks different, but that's all covered by the console, so you will not see that. The outer shift box here on the transmission, of course, looks different, and that is usually the easiest way to tell is this a converted car or not, is to look at the outer shift box. Because if it is a cast part, then it's probably OE, and if it's a machined part, then it is aftermarket. It's not OE. That is kind of the status of conversions in the Ferrari world right now as of today. So again, questions, send us an email, sales@normalguysupercar.com. And we'll see you guys in the next video. We're going to be doing a lot of cool car stuff. You're going to want to stay tuned. It's going to be sweet.